Good morning. It is Sunday the 18th of January. I can't believe how quickly January's moving through. It seems to be just whizzing along. Anyway, enough about that. I've not been posting for a very, very long time when it comes to videos on YouTube and also uploading my content. I don't know, I had a bit of the last 6 months of 2025 were frankly a little bit weird, I have to be honest. I don't know where my headspace was. It was just, yeah, sometimes we get like that. Anyway, moving forward from that, this morning I'm going to be showing you how to make an inside out card, which when you flip it, it turns like that. That's the inside of it. That's the back side of it. So yeah, we're going to be making an inside out card. It's going to look completely different to this because I made this, which is quite floral. I'm going to be using this same suite of papers and dies and stamps, but I'm actually going to be making it slightly more masculine. So today we're using what's called the Lovely Blossom suite. The suite itself comes with a stamp set, the usual die set, and I love these dies. It comes with an embossing folder, which I'm not sure you can see completely, sorry. It's probably a bit glary. It really deeply embosses in lines, and I do really love this. So we are going to be using a little bit of that today. The set also comes with Moody palette glossy dots, and these are in Secret Sea, Old Olive, Cloud Cover, and then white. Yeah, so that's, and again, they're just lovely. They're not too I don't know whether you can really see, but they're not too high, so they're not gonna, if those of you who are in other parts of the world where shipping costs are astronomical when you deepen the card, you could add a couple of these and it wouldn't make any difference to the cost of the postage costs. Okay, what else am I going to show you from this suite? This suite also comes with a gorgeous cloud cover ribbon. I'm going to use a little bit of this today, but I'm going to also be using our Secret Sea ribbon, which comes in a different set, but you can buy separately. And this is a really nice shiny blue and I've used this a couple of times so far, and I absolutely adore it. You may realise as well that my nails match the Old Olive. This is as close to I could get with my nail tech when I took the card into them yesterday, and I think I might do I'm just loving the colours in this suite, so I might go for, I don't know, the Deep Secret Sea the next time. The papers in this set again are lovely, and they're called Lovely Blossoms. The paper is called Lovely Blossoms. And it has two of these sheets which you can cut them to squares, and they will make a card, and all you would have to do would be to put a sentiment on, say like sending smiles. So you could use that as you could put a sentiment on like that. The dies, and so you've got just a note: happy birthday, you are so lovely, so very much, sending smiles, always here for you. We all, unfortunately, life is life, and we do end up losing people. So sometimes we have to send a sympathy card, and I always think always here for you is just letting them know that they might not need you now, but in the future, if they need you, you are available. You've also got hello friend, thank you, love you. So you've got lots of different sentiments in this one to use. I'm actually also going to use today our new Family Ties bundle, Family Ties stamp set. This Family Ties stamp set is currently £17 in the United Kingdom, and the item number is 166897. And it's Mother's Day, Father's Day, but also you've got have a lovely day, happy. So, but I got this suite specifically so I could I've got 2 different sizes of fathers and mothers. So when it comes to, I just like the fact that you can have the larger one on the front and the smaller on the middle, or you could do it the other way around, whichever way you wanted to do. So that we're going to use that because we're going to actually make a Father's Day card. I know we've got florals, but we're going to make a Father's Day card. So yeah, within the suite of papers, you get 2 of these. You get 2 of each, but also each side is double-sided. I love this one, which is the cloud cover. So you've got the 2-tone of the cloud cover. You've got a deeper cloud cover and a lighter cloud cover, which matches the, what have I just done with it? I've just put it on the floor there, which almost matches our lovely stripes embossing folder. So that's that one. Let's go through the rest. This one is a lovely floral, which you can cut out. You can just cut out the leaves if you want to. You could cut out the flowers, or you could use it as a background. This has got a beautiful petal pink, again, in 2 different colour tones. I'm loving the fact that Stampin' Up's doing the 2 different colour tones. You know what I realised is, I told you, it's actually 3, it's 2 of the initial papers, which have got the ones where you can cut out. No, it's not, I'm wrong again. It's 3. You get 3 papers of each. So 3 of those. Then you get 3 of those. And then this is another lovely background paper, but on the back of this one is quite a masculine paper, which I consider masculine. It might not be, but it's, you know, it's more male orientated, I would say. No florals on it. But I have sent cards with a little bit of floral on. So this is beautiful as well, with the smaller flowers with a great background. Diamonds on the back of this, which is the Secret Sea. And then the final paper in this is beautiful petal pink, bit of cloud cover, white. You've got the Secret Sea on here. And then on the back, you've got a beautiful, almost linen look, old olive, which we are going to be using this morning. Right. I'm going to move those to one side. So just to reiterate the colours in those. So the colours are Crumb Cake, Cloud Cover, Old Olive, Petal Pink, and Secret Sea. And they are absolutely, you know, I think probably greens and blues are my go-to colours. Excuse me. I am... Oh, excuse me. I will let you know now, I am suffering a little bit. I am recovering from a cold, but I've now had this cold now for coming up to 3 weeks, and it's lingering still. So I apologise for the sneezing and the sniffing and the coughing, if there is any. All right. What I'm going to show you, though, a quick show you, is some of the other cards I've made with the suite. We were tasked to create a monochrome card, and there is a lovely linen stamp which created this background, and I used the Secret Sea with that one, the Sending Smiles from the set, and also a little bit of the Secret Sea ribbon for that one. Another monochrome one, but this is all petal pink based. You may notice there's a little, I say a little, quite a bit of sparkle, and that's made with the oh, my brain is gone. We have a pen which, when you just write over the top, it you can go over the top of anything and it creates this sparkle. And I can't, it's for the life of me, it has gone out the top of it's gone off my head, but I will put it in the comments below. Another few that I've just made using the suite and the papers predominantly. Now, I'm going to give Rose Coleman, who is a Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator, the full kudos for this, because she does what we call Fun Fold Friday. I would advise you to look up those fun folds. Rose has made a easel card using this suite, and I copied it. I just changed it ever so slightly. And I don't know whether you notice, you've got enough gap to put one of those electric little mini tea lights in. And when you put the tea light in, it flickers from behind, and it is absolutely stunning. So thank you, Rose Coleman, for that. But again, use the embossing folder, use the papers, use the sentiments, and we've just used a little bit of vellum in order to let that light shine through. But yeah, the easel card is gorgeous. Okay, so what do we need to do today? What are we using today to make our card? We are going to, what I'm going to do is, before I do anything else, I am just going to move my bits and pieces out of the way, because I'm going to let you take a screenshot of everything that we need. So if I hold that steady, you should be able to see, or if you take a screenshot, you should be able to zoom in for our outside easel card. Now I'm doing it in metric, so it fits a standard C6 envelope. There are some videos on there which have done them in imperial, in inches. So if you just Google inside out easel card on YouTube, you will be able to find lots of different examples. There are some bigger cards made, but I tend to send out the smaller C6, which is around about just over 14.5 centimetres by 10.5 centimetres cards. One, because they are slightly cheaper to post, and but two, because I like this little compact nature. You don't need a big card to create an impact. Okay, so I'm now bringing in everything that we need, but before we do that, unfortunately, I am going to have to blow my nose because I could feel myself sniffing. Sorry, guys. Okay, so what do we have with us? We have two 13 by 5.9 times 9 by 5 centimetres. They are going to be our pattern layers. For the mat, we have this is for the easel side, 13.5 by 7. We've got one which measures 13.5 times 9.5 centimetres, and that is for the sentiment on the back of the card. We also have a small strip of 13.5 times 1 as well. So there are second mat layers. The first mat layers that we have are 14 centimetres by 15 centimetres, and that is what layers on top of that. And then we have our mats, which then they layer onto, and we should have 3 of those, but it looks like I've only got 2, so we might need another one to cut out. I'll see if I can find one. I think I took it from another pack, so there we go, we have our 3. But this one is going to be I'm not keeping in frame. So we've got 2 with the plain and then the patterned, and now we've got 1 with the plain and then the plain insert for your sentiment. So we've got those, we've got that, and then we have our easel bit at the front, which again, we're just matting and layering on the top of those. I'll put those to one side, and we've got lots of little bits of ephemera. This is not going to be as busy a card as the one I've just shown you. So this one, obviously when you turn it inside out, has quite a bit of flat florals. I'm not going to do as big a height with this. You can actually go as high as, when you look at it, you could go as high as here if you wanted to. So you're not limited, you're only limited by width, not height. So if you wanted to put even more layers and put more things behind it, you can do. I have made another card in another suite, but I'll show you that when I do that suite next week. So just going through the prices for things, it is a lot of money. I'm not going to say any otherwise. To get everything which I've shown you this morning, which is the paper, a paper pack, the stamp and dies, the embossing folder, the ribbon, and the little dots. It's a hefty sum. It's £84.25 to buy into, but obviously you can just get the stamps, or you can get the die, stamp and dies. We do 10% reduction if you buy everything together, which is why it's £84.25. It would be well into the early £90 range if you bought them separately. However, we are running a thing at the moment which is product of the month, and if you spend over £70 product of the month, you can then buy a further product while stocks last for an extra £5. Now this month's, I don't think I actually have it with me, but this month's product of the month, last month's product of the month was a set of paper, and the paper was Lovely Blues. This month's set of the month, the product of the month is actually a stamp set, which has got loads of different sentiments on. I will post a picture in the comments just so you can actually see what I mean. Again, you don't, I would say, spread caution, you don't have to buy everything, but if you like what you see, yeah, it's good. But also, I hate to do this, and I hate to put this on my videos, but I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator. If you buy through me, which is Helen Armstrong, I do get, I make a small amount of money from your purchase, which helps me do these videos and buy the papers and everything I need to do these type of videos. But if you wanted to get 20% off what you're buying, you could become a demonstrator. Now, I always think demonstrator is the wrong word these days. With Stampin' Up, you do not have to demonstrate. I choose to demonstrate. I choose to put videos out because it's what I enjoy. I enjoy talking to people, enjoy doing this. You do not have to. You could just become a demonstrator. You could always sign up as a Stampin' Up demonstrator, literally just to get the discount. But if you don't want to be a demonstrator, and if you buy from Stampin' Up at the moment, they're also doing what we call a 10% rewards. So whatever you buy, say if you bought the suite, the Lovely Blossom suite for £84.25, not only would you qualify for the product of the month at an extra £5, you would also qualify for Stampin' Up rewards if you sign up to them. Now you get 10% stamping rewards once you get, I think it's over £20. Once you spend £20, anything above that, you get 10% of what you buy back as rewards, which you can then use on future orders. So there are lots of different ways how you can make money back. What I'm just about to do, so last time I'm just going to go to our product of the month and just see if I can actually show you what it looks like. So our product of the month is Fabulous Sayings. So I'm just gonna, I know it's a bit glary, but it's Fabulous Sayings. Look at all those wonderful sentiments you can use on your cards. Yeah, for me it's a no-brainer this month. I have to be, if I'm honest with you, last month it wasn't what I would normally have purchased. The paper pack was very nice, but I didn't necessarily need any more paper. But a sentiment stamp set like the one that we've got at the moment is definite for me. You can use it for many years to come. Okay, so going forward with our video, I've talked enough. Let's go through with our video. You might notice that I've got all these sticky things on my cards, just to let you know. Now, this is Post-it tape. I love Post-it tape. Post-it tape is great because this has been stuck on for over 15 hours. Post-it tape you can just pull off. It doesn't leave a residue. It's great. I use it for holding my dies in place when I'm cutting. If it's an intricate die, it's great for that, and you can reuse it and reuse it. So a roll does last up quite some time. I also have, for those of you that like to stick their dies down, this is Scotch equivalent. And again, it's very much, you can write on it if you wanted to. Again, it's very like the poster tape. It's not as thick. It's quite thin, but you do get a lot of it for the money. So this is Scotch tape. Just thought I'd let you know. Okay. Right, so first of all, we're going to start putting our backing pieces on. Okay, just so we have everything in place. So I'm going to show you as we go along which bit is which. So we're going to first start doing this using this one. So this is our 14.5 times 12.5 centimetres, and I've scored it. I don't know whether you can really see, but I've scored it at 2 centimetres. The 2 centimetre is where you would put your bits that you want to, show out. And this is the middle of your card, which is this bit here. So I'm going to start matting and layering. Now, if you wanted to pause this video and you wanted to, or come back to it, cut out all your bits, come back to it and we can craft along with it, that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to get our mats and layers sorted. Just making sure that's the right. Yep, and that goes on the back. Right, so let's quickly stick. I don't know about you, but I'm very much a multi-glue girl. I like my Tombow multi-glue, mainly because I'm not the best when it comes to positioning on cards. On your doing your sticking things down, I'm not the best when it comes to that. And I like the fact that this is repositional. It'd be great in the comments if you could say, do you actually like this set? I mean, I sometimes, even as a Stampin' Up demonstrator, you look and you go, oh, right, okay, that's definitely not for me. And then you will see other people's videos and how they've used that set that you didn't think was for you. And you realise, oh, I could actually use that set quite easily. This wasn't the case with this. I fell in love with this as soon as I saw it. I knew if I was going to get a floral this time round, this would be the floral. But I think mainly it was because of the colours. Not necessarily the florals, but the colours. And as I say, and it was the dyes that they have come out with this time, because it's just, some of the dyes are just stunning and very, very easy to make backgrounds with. I do absolutely adore them. So that's for that one. Oh, that was where my third layer went. It was stuck behind my other one. Obviously, normally I would not have my sticky labels on, but I can use those sticky labels again, because just to stick general things down if I was doing some cutting out this morning. Just to save some time this morning, I have cut out lots of bits and pieces that we're going to use, but I haven't done the stamping. I've not stamped with the stamp, because I just thought it's something we can do. I'm just going to move that card completely out of the way. Okay. What I found interesting yesterday, I was watching another person's video about the best paper trimmers to get. Now, Stampin' Up obviously do their own, and I have to say, I love the Stampin' Up paper trimmer, and so did this particular individual. But the Stampin' Up paper trimmer, I quite like scrapbooking, and for cutting my photographs and snipping things like that, I prefer a guillotine. And this particular individual has said that, you know, they use a pretty, I think it's Tim Holtz's small mini guillotine from Tonic Studios. And I thought, oh, right, I'm going to give that a go. So I have got that coming just to give it a go, because sometimes even I love my, I love the Stampin' Up paper trimmer. But as I say, you know, it doesn't do everything that I want it to. So I like finding out new things. One of the things I'm busy trialing at the moment is, right, that's all my mats and layers done. Now, so it's putting them onto the correct places. So let's do this. One of the things I like, I'm trialing at the moment, are different scissors. Unfortunately, Stampin' Up used to do what we call paper snips, and I always found them to be the best scissors ever. And this is coming from many years as a crafter. But I bought a lot, you know, I bought myself 2 or 3 pairs of the Stampin' Up paper snips because they were so good. But because Stampin' Up no longer do the paper snips, I'm busy trialing a number of different pairs of scissors. And one of the videos I'm going to do is actually which scissors I believe are the best. But it could be, everybody's different. I haven't got my gloves on today. When I'm crafting, I have these gloves on because I have condition in my hands, which makes them very, very sore very, very easily and quickly, unfortunately, especially when I'm crafting. And they're compression gloves. So I'm going to be looking at a point of view for me, because how easy are they to use? You know, if you're wearing a pair of compression gloves, or how easy is it to use for those of us who don't have the dexterity in their fingers that they used to. I've just realised that I've not mapped that very well, and you can see it's not always easy, I have to say, to do it when you're on camera. I'm hoping you can see everything. Okay. Right. Move that slightly. Okay. Let's do turn it over and do our back panel. So as you can see, you know, once you've cut out your bits and pieces, I know this seems like it's taken me an age. It's not that difficult to actually put the mats and layers together and put them on. Okay, that's probably the hardest bit to do. So I'm going to move the big piece out of the way first. I'm going to work on this piece. So this piece is for this bit here. So this is the one that's going to be front and center when you turn it inside out. Now, I've not decided what I was going to go with this. So I decided to do some cutting out and just having a play, matting and layering, and just, you know, coming up to see what do I like, what do I prefer. I actually quite like that. I like the fact that it's in the middle. So I'm going very slightly, I hate to say it, but we use the term masculine card because it's not got florals on. As I say, I'm not really a florals person, so this appeals to me, massively appeals to me. Because although I like flowers, I'm not somebody that, I have hay fever, so I don't like proper flowers, real flowers, because they gave me hay fever. But I'd like to see them, but can't get near, unfortunately. I'm going to try and put that, not centering it per se, I'm just going to put where I think I actually quite like it. And there, it's there. You can see the back of this paper, I used one of those little small panels. I was going to leave that there. So it comes down ever so slightly. And I've lost my train of thought completely. Oh yes, we were talking about how I don't like the really fussy floral cards. but actually this week has made me, given me a newfound love for floral cards. Now, I really should have thought about that, shouldn't I, before I started gluing and sticking. Because I realise I've got a bit of a gap at the top, but not at the bottom. Okay, didn't work that one out very well, did I? But never mind, we're going to carry on. And we're going to pick up some of our sentiment strips. So this is a die that's in the kit, in the it comes in the bundle. Let's put it there. I like that. But I'm also going to layer. I'm actually not going to bring any. I was going to bring in some of the pink, but I'm actually not going to do that today. I don't know about anybody else as well. I often get asked about how I craft with my nails. It's a case of I just do. I've not always had long nails. It's just really a recent thing, to be honest. I'm going to pick up some of my florals. I'm just going to bring them in. And then we're going to stamp our sentiment and just see where it fits. See, I'm just messing, I'm just playing. This is the best bit about being able to just play. You know, I was at a virtual retreat the other week, and we were discussing about how crafting helps us. I might not have mentioned, but you know, I didn't have the best end of 2025, and I finally got back into crafting again properly, you know, making things for myself and making things for others towards the end of the year. And I realised that actually I need to have craft. I need to have something to do with my fingers. I need to have something to do which takes my mind off other things outside. We all have outside things which are pressing for our time and pressing for, you know, for us to take notice of. And unfortunately, yeah, it does take up, things do take a lot of our time, but they can sap us. I consider it sapping my strength, my mental strength, not only my physical, but my mental strength. It comes under, yeah. So I find it really sometimes quite difficult. But I've come to realise that crafting gives me that sort of release. Like this morning, I've not really come up with a plan. I cut out some die cuts, and and I decided, oh, let's see what works. Does it work? If it doesn't work, it doesn't. I like to play cutting things out. I don't know if you're like me, whether you like to cut the paper out. I do. I find it very therapeutic cutting the paper out. I don't know why, but I do. It just makes things. I just find that I can just relax. I can go into my own little world. Now these ones I'm not cutting off straight. I'm actually following the curve as best I can. Now these are a pair of scissors that I'm trialing at the moment. These remind me most of the Stampin' Up ones. You know, for the life of me, I can't even think of what they're called. Let me just have a look. They are beadative scissors, and they are stainless steel. And they're the ones that I feel are most currently like Stampin' Up scissors, but yeah, we'll see what happens going forward. Right, I quite like that. But I'm going to now just curve this one off. I didn't do that very well, did I? Okay, let's not worry about it. And I'm going to join these two together with a little bit of glue. And I am sorry if I'm in your way and I'm not, you can't see half of what I'm doing. I couldn't get my laptop to work this morning, so I'm just having to film this completely on my phone. So I'm just putting a little bit on the bottom of each of these circles. These circles are just so versatile. But I also, they do, when you cut them out using you leave this sort of like a diamond shape. And I have used that diamond shape a few times. And I haven't centered that very well. Sort of ish. It will work. Okay. And I'm now just adding a couple more florals onto that. I don't want it, I'm not looking for it to stand out an awful lot. I'm maybe going to add sorry, losing my train of thought again this morning. I might add some ribbon up here. Okay. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. It's not too in your face. It's quite simple. But I'm going to actually add some of our. I'm going to add our secret sea, or shall I try using the? Shall I try using this one? Let's have a look. Okay, I'm just going to cut a little bit off. You see, the scissors weren't great when it came to cutting the ribbon, but we'll persevere. Okay, that's better cut. I'm literally going to just see if I can add under there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this ribbon in half. And what I should have done was to actually, to work out where I was going to put it before I glued it down. Sometimes best laid plans. Okay, so just put a little bit more glue under there. And I'm just going to stick that. Don't know if I'm actually going to keep what I'm doing, but let's just see. So I need a little bit more glue. So this is cloud cover ribbon. I think one of the things I do like about Stampin' Up is whenever they bring out a bundle or a suite, see, I don't know whether it's going to work now, I've cut that in half. Bring out a bundle or a suite, it is the colours coordinate. And I'm not ashamed to say that I do have a little bit of autism. I say a little bit of autism, is there such a thing? I am autistic, and I like how things match. And you can, so that's it just my brain, it just feeds my brain in a good way. I don't have to think too much about what I'm going to do to help coordinate all this these things. Yeah. Am I happy with that? Not really, but we're going to continue. We're going to go with it. Absolutely go with it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the bottom bit. Am I going to use that? I think I will. I'm actually going to use that gorgeous pink as our stopper. Okay, and in order to do that, what we need to do is we need to have what we call dimensionals to put our stopper on. So I'm just going to pick up some of these our larger dimensionals. Another thing I need to confess is I have all the bits for my Stampin' Up do what we call a take your pick tool. which makes life so much easier when you're crafting, because it has a sticky end, it has a pokey tool, it has lots of things like that on it. Unfortunately, I've got all the bits, but I can't actually find my pokey tool. I don't think I've lined that up very particularly well, but not to worry. What am I actually now going to do? Because I brought that pink in, I'm actually going to add a touch of pink here, but I'm not going to add it until we do our sentiment. Okay, I'll leave these loose because I might use them. Now what we're going to do is, we do have on the back, it's where your sentiment would go. As I say, I was going to use the family tie set, because I want to do a big Father's Day on this. Now I haven't, like I had with the other one, I've not stuck this down yet. But what I do need is my stamping block. Really should be slightly better organised, shouldn't I? So I'm going to take our Fathers and the Day. Okay, so when you peel these off, be very gentle with them, because you can stretch them. So I tend to just peel them off. This one's not been used before, it's a new stamp. I've not actually used it. I'm going to layer these stamps on this block. Not very straight, but well, no, they're not very straight. I've not done this very well, have I? Okay, that's probably what I need to do this probably off camera, which would be better. Okay. So what I've done is I've just put those all together. So I'm going to do that middle bit first. Let's move my other little bits and pieces off the way. I'll just take a drink, sorry. That worked well. Okay. I'm going to bring in the card. And I think I might stamp in Secret C, but the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to stamp on my paper first, just to ensure that it's stamping well, because what you don't want to happen is that you stamp it directly onto your card and it doesn't work. Okay, that actually was not too bad, and I quite like the placement of it, so let's give it a go. Let's just do it. Let's just risk it for a biscuit. Okay. So when you're doing your stamping, don't press down, don't press hard, you don't need to. That is it. You just lift on and off. And now I didn't get the A correctly, but I'm not going to restamp that. I just think you'll end up having more issues if you do try and restamp that. Okay, and I'm also going to bring in our stamp set from, before I do that, actually I'm going to clean my stamp somehow, which I don't seem to have. I can't clean my stamp because I don't have my, I don't have the bits I need to clean it, but never mind. Right, okay, let's open up our stamp set. And I'm actually going to take the leaves. I'm going to take these, okay, lifting carefully. Put that to one side. And again, I think I'm going to use our Secret C. Secret C is what we call an in colour with Stampin' Up. It was brought in May last year, Secrecy, and we normally keep our ink colours for 2 years. So this is due to go out in May 2027. I am hoping that they do keep Secrecy because I think it's a absolutely gorgeous blue. It's deeper than a navy, but it's not a black. I just think it'd be a shame to lose it, unfortunately. For me, it would be massive if we lost that one. I've not been Stampin' Up very long. I've only been Stampin' Up for, well, coming up to 2 years in March. And I adore a lot of the, you know, the colours that come out. But I think Secrecy is one that they do need to keep. So I think I'll be putting it in the suggestion box for Stampin' Up. Please keep Secrecy. I'm going to get a little bit of white card and we're going to stamp on the front with our Father's. But we're going to put, instead of have a lovely Father's Day, we're going to put Happy Father's Day. But I think I'm going to use the smaller Father's one. Yep, let's use the small one. And use the Happy. And we're still going to need our day. So I must remember that I do need to clean my stamps off at the end of this video. Okay. I think I will also use a smaller block. Day. Fathers. And then I'm layering this on the top. Might just have that going slightly off to the side. Okay, so then I'm gonna stamp it up, and then we're gonna do a quick cut out. Okay, there's a couple of ways you can ink your stamps. You can press them into the thing. I prefer to just do mine where I tap it on the top. Okay. See how it was quickly on and off. If you press too hard, you end up getting an image which is feathered, which is not something that you want. So we're going to use our new scissors. We're just going to quickly cut round. It doesn't have, you know, this is a hand. People always say, why is it, you know, why do you not do it perfectly? Why do you not ensure, I've just realised I've got ink all over my hands. Why do you not ensure that the spacing is the same? Why do you not, you know, take time to measure it up? If I was going to sell my cards, yeah, I would. Or, you know, if it was for, you know, I do take my time, but this is a handmade card and people don't expect it to be perfect. So what I always say to people, it's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to look that, you know, you with Stampin' Up, you could make it absolutely perfect. But there are some of us who struggle with cutting because of maybe issues with our hands, with our vision. So I always say, my cards are never meant to be perfect. There is always going to be imperfections, and that's part of what I love about them, is their imperfections. So I'm just going to add that on the front, but before I quickly do, I'm going to take a blending brush, and I know I've got a little bit of Secrecy on there, so I'm just going to take off the edges a little bit of that white, just so it's not as in your face. I don't even know whether you actually can see me doing that, sorry. And it just takes off the edge, and I'm gonna actually put it on with some dimensionals as well, because we can, and I'm also going to put some ribbon underneath. So we're nearly finished our card. I'm not going to show you me sticking on the lettering at the front. I'm going to explain to you how I did it, but I'm not going to show you me sticking the lettering on. You can handwrite it. Strangely enough, I have that thing of, a lot of us have, I don't like my handwriting. My handwriting's awful. My husband prefers, if I'm going to make a card for him, to have it handwritten. He prefers to see my handwriting on a card. So if he wanted to be really truly personal, I will put my handwriting on a card. So I would maybe write actually on the card itself. It was for my husband, Turn Me Inside Out, because he would prefer that. And I'd be looking at it going, I've ruined my card. It is a weird one. So yeah, I mean, it all depends. You know your audience, you know the people that you're making for. Do they prefer things to be, completely and utterly perfect? I don't think in life anything is completely and utterly perfect. Nature is not perfect. Nature does have perfection in, things like hexagons and things like that, but nature itself is not perfect. I'm just going to turn this over and stick this on where I want it to be on my dimensionals. That is better. Right, okay. And then I'm just going to work out where I'm going to place it, which I think will be there. Yep. So you see everything's a bit skewy. If it's not, because it's very difficult when I'm doing this on camera. But I am going to put that behind, just to pick up that pink. Sorry, my glue's deciding. I think it's because I've had it open. It's not wanting to work anymore. What I will say to you is, if you're cutting out these leaves, be very careful, because they have cut through and you can see the veins of the leaves. Do not put glue where those veins are, because it will show through. Okay. I'm actually very happy with that, considering we've just done it on the fly. And I'm just going to cut my ribbon. Okay, happy Father's Day. That is great. So now we're going to make the rest of the... What you're going to do is you're going to line these up. If I show you the original one. So what we did is, so we have our two bits. Now this is where you're going to put Turn Me Inside Out. So we're going to ensure that these two sides are stuck together correctly. Okay, so I'm going to use my glue, because that gives me that wiggle room. And you should always make sure you don't go right to the edge, but again, I'm not following my own instructions. Okay, so I've stuck that down, ensuring that it's pretty level. We have our sentiment on the back. Okay, so our card. You know what, it would have been helpful had I actually used and scored them, did them correctly, because I've not actually. I didn't burnish anything, and I should have done, and I didn't, but never mind. Okay, so we now have our card. This is our card. Happy Father's Day. Now you can put anything on here. You could decorate this in the middle. I'm not going as far as to do that today. It's up to you. And then obviously we turn our card, once it's dry, inside out, and then it folds. So you would then do, it's up to you what you wanted to write on it. You could just say, I mean, I put Turn Me Inside Out, but you could just put I'm inside out. And hopefully they would know to turn it round. So what I've used for my letters is, let me just reach across and get the stamp. So I've used our mini alphabet dies. it comes 2 sections. We've got the alphabet and we've also got the punctuation. Okay, so I have used those and I cut out lots of my letters, all in the colours that I might be using to add to it, and then I can just pick and choose and then stick on the front. So as I say, we're not going to stick on the front because this video has been quite long anyway. As I say, that is it. I hope you've enjoyed learning how to do it. I'll leave that there again so you can have a look and maybe zoom in and take a screenshot. As I say, my name is Helen Armstrong. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I can only do these videos if with support from people who either purchase from me or you know, take an interest. If you can like, subscribe, that would be fantastic. If not, don't worry about it, move on. If you'd like to see more content, it would be great if you could contact me and just let me know what type of thing you'd like me to do. Yeah, I'm very open to ideas. I'm very open to trying new techniques. You know, moving away from what we say, the norm when it comes to card making, you know, rather than you just open and fold card. But also, I love using inks. So one of my next videos will be showing how I'm blending inks to create backgrounds and a bit more interest. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed. Take care. Have a good rest of your day. And I'll see you soon.